Hey everybody, it's Avi Tenenbaum from psychotraumaunit.com. You can go to that website to learn more about me. You can also look at my YouTube channel on Avi Tenenbaum PFA. Check that out on YouTube, Avi Tenenbaum PFA. I'm here in the middle of the night, southern Israel, and I don't want to talk too loud because I don't want to wake people up, but at the same time, probably not everybody's sleeping because we have air raid sirens here and rockets falling, and I have my bomb shelter there in the corner in case we need. I want to make a short, practical video about how to deal with the trauma from rockets when we're being barraged by rockets or artillery or whatever it is that they're lobbing our way. So I'm going to make 3 points. This is going to be real simple. The first step in dealing with trauma that comes up from rockets and things like the current events in Operation Breaking Dawn is we want to validate, normalize, and explain to ourselves and to our loved ones that any sort of symptoms that we're having from the traumatic stress of rockets and air raid sirens, it's completely normal, it's adaptive, it's there to help us protect ourselves. It's like a built-in system in our body that you don't even have to think about, you don't even have to decide to turn it on. It turns it on in the blink of an eye for you, and it's there for self-preservation to keep you safe and protect you. And thank God for that. So it's a great thing. And we don't have to be worried about the symptoms that we have when they show up for us during times of war. It's completely normal. See, what happens is a lot of times we feel our heart pounding. We have all sorts of things happen to us. We feel uneasy in our stomach. Maybe we want to throw up. We're shaking, etc., etc. We get confused. And we even get afraid because of our symptoms. We start to think like we're losing control of ourselves. We're going crazy. Trauma is all about feeling helpless and feeling unsafe. And so when you are reacting, when rockets are being shot at you and people are trying to kill you, and your body is showing up to that and reacting, and you're afraid of your own symptoms, and you're saying, oh my God, what am I doing? When will this end? It's so scary that my body is shaking. How do I get it to stop? So the first thing we want to tell ourselves is, it's okay that these symptoms are happening. It's normal that these symptoms are happening. It's there to protect you. It's built in. We want to start getting used to the idea that we have symptoms, our body shows up to rockets being shot at us, it acts a certain way, it's par for the course, it's okay. We're going to talk in just a second about what to do about it, but it's okay, it's expected, and we don't have to worry about that. It doesn't mean something bad, it doesn't mean we're dying, it doesn't mean that we're not safe just because that's happening, and we can drop the struggle or the fight that we have with the symptoms. So the second point that we want to make is, we want to talk about what can we do about this situation? Because we said that trauma is all about feeling utter helplessness and not feeling safe. So we don't want to sit here like bait for the sharks to come eat us. We want to feel that we have self-efficacy, that we are powerful, that we have the ability and control over our situation, at least to some degree, and that we could do something about it. So therefore, we're going to ask ourselves, what do I want to do right now about what I'm feeling? Do I want to do a task and keep myself busy? Do I want to call up a friend? Do I want to clean up the room? Do I want to walk around the bomb shelter, or do I want to shake it out? And you can be like a curious mad scientist and play around with your body and move around and shake and walk and jump and whatever sort of physical things that you think might be helpful to you. Go try that out. Have fun. If you can, laugh about it. But we want to take these symptoms and we want to say, what can I do about it? Maybe I can go see how to be helpful to somebody else, how to be purposeful. Maybe it's children that I have to help in this situation. Maybe we can take crayons and paper and make pictures for the soldiers and then give it to somebody to give to the people who are right now dealing with this situation and give them some strength and appreciation. And then we are feeling like we're part of what's going on, and our kids are helpful and they're instrumental, and we're also giving appreciation at the same time. So there's tons of things that we can do. We can cook a meal for somebody lonely and call them up and somehow send it over there. There's a lot of things we can do to feel that we're not a sitting duck, but we are being purposeful. We are being helpful. We have control over what's going on. We can control our bodies to some degree. We can control how we show up to this situation and what we can do about it. Now we have a really good, powerful, built-in system for self-preservation. So sometimes during situations like rockets being shot at us, we get so into the trauma and we get so much into the symptoms that we kind of lose ourselves, and we have to figure out, how do I bring myself back? What do I do, right? So sometimes it helps us to breathe. And if you look on the internet, there's a million different opinions and approaches about how to do breathing in order to calm ourselves down during very traumatic and stressful situations. They'll say it takes 5 seconds of breathing in, holding it for 2 seconds, letting it out for 5 seconds. Then there's another one that says you do it for 4 seconds, and then you hold it for 7 and let it out for 8. I'm not going to bore you. Find whatever approach works for you, but it always is going to involve breathing in gently, trying to slow things down and come back to ourselves, breathing in for a few seconds, holding it for a little bit, and letting it back out. So I'm just going to demonstrate that for a moment. And what I did is I breathed in gently for about 4 seconds. I held it for about 2 seconds, and I let it back out for about 4 seconds. And if we try to do that for about 1 or 2 minutes straight, we start to slow ourselves down and bring our stress down to a reasonable place where we can function as best as possible in this situation, right? And that's what we're looking to do. So use your breath as a way to calm yourself down. If somebody else is having a hard time, you can use your breath to calm them down as well. And you can demonstrate this for them and walk them through that. Okay? So use your breath. That's one technique. Another technique is you can walk around the bomb shelter or walk around your house or walk around the room, and sometimes by walking slowly with somebody else and holding their hand, you're right, because we're going like this, we're really worked up, right? You want to slow down. You want to walk gently. Some people say, you know what helps me, Avi? What helps me is to walk quickly and get the energy out. If that helps you, no problem. If it's legal and it's safe, try that too. So I said again, you're being like a scientist. Experiment what's helpful to you. Give it a shot. Okay, so we can breathe. We can walk and move. We can shake. We can think of other ideas that maybe no one ever heard of before that you perceive can be helpful to you, and try that out. And what we're aiming for is not to be the happiest people that ever lived. This is not the day of our wedding. It's not Hanukkah that we're getting a big present. What we're aiming for is to be able to function as best as we can in these circumstances with people shooting rockets at us, right? So that's what we're aiming for. We want to build resilience. We want to feel that we have some semblance of control over our situation, and we're not utterly helpless. We're helpful. We're safer than we previously thought, and here we are. If you're confused, one of the things you can do when you're feeling confused, or if somebody near you is feeling confused, is you can give them some sort of a math problem or ask them very straight, direct, logical questions. What year were you born in? What hospital were you born in? What was the name of your school? Who's the name of your best friend? What's 10 plus 15? Could you make me a list of all the countries you've ever visited? All these types of things, they use your brain, and they pull you out of the black hole of confusion and trauma and getting really overwhelmed, and they help sharpen and utilize the part of your brain that helps you to ideally function logically and to be put together as best as possible for these situations, okay? So, just to recap, we made 3 main points. One is to normalize what we're feeling. People are shooting rockets at us. It's not exactly like they're throwing money at us, like in those YouTube videos, right? There's not like dollar bills floating down. There are rockets falling around us. It's okay. It's normal. And in fact, we have a built-in system to help us be safe, and that's what's working for us right now. That's why we're having these symptoms. That's point number 1. Point number 2 is, what can I do about it? And let me make myself feel helpful, purposeful, find some task, find a job, find a way to do something about this and to deal with that and regulate my feelings. And not to feel helpless. The third thing we said is very particular techniques: breathing, shaking, walking around, and using logic. If you need social support, use the phone. There's a lot of different ways to show up to this situation and feel better. I wish everybody good news. We should only hear good things. We should all be safe. God bless you. Be well.